Prepare to have your minds fucking blown because today's episode is unlike anything you've ever seen before. We're doing a Met Gala theme, but I don't mean like Miriam Crosby's Met Gala themed luncheon. I mean, we are incorporating the 2026 Met Gala theme into today's menu. Now, what does that mean? I don't know. Listen, the Met Gala themes never make a ton of sense to me, but I've done a lot of research this year. I scrolled TikTok, I went on Reddit. That's a lie, I did not go on Reddit, but I asked AI and AI scrubbed Reddit, so same. And I talked to a friend of mine who is a Met Gala theme expert. So I've created a whole menu where the theme of the Met Gala is incorporated into the menu. Plus, it's kind of like fun, chic stuff you could serve to guests if you wanted to watch the red carpet together. I don't know, I've never done that, but if that's your thing, totally go for it. But let's just fucking get into it, yeah? You know, one of my big fears in life is accidentally getting high before a podcast. I've done it twice before. But not Blush Kitchen, just like, right, and it was before I was on camera, but even that was rough. Okay, so we're making 3 different things and all of them are, well, okay, they have different components of what I think the theme will reflect within them. So my understanding of the theme is that, what is my understanding? No, I'm just kidding. So what I've been told from my friend Mackenzie Green, not to brag, we are friends, is that we'll probably see a lot of sheers on the red carpet because I guess the theme involves bodies, so you want to see through. I don't fucking know, but I'm wearing something sheer. Woo! I was gonna wear it with underwear, like I thought that was gonna be really chic, but it's open all the way up here. And with underwear, I honestly just looked like I was going to Burning Man, so I decided to wear pants instead. And now I kind of just also look, well, now it's like I go to Coachella instead of Burning Man or something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, I tried my best to be chic and elegant and elevated for this. But anyway, the food is gonna have a lot of sheer components to it too, which is interesting. But I also wanted to present food in a very different way than we've ever seen it before. So the whole theme this year is fashion as art, right? So this is like food is art. And I wanna take things that we are used to, we're familiar with, but just present them in different forms and different structures. And I want things to be really sculptural and just kind of mind-blowing in a different kind of sensory experience than you're used to consuming things in. Anyway, so all that being said, we're gonna start by roasting some sweet potatoes. The most different and innovative thing that you could possibly fucking do. And actually the sweet potato dish, I'll tell you right now, is a bit of an ode to Beyonce, who is one of the chairs of this year's Met Gala. And my understanding is that she hasn't been in attendance in a really long time. Also, it's kind of funny that I'm doing an episode on the Met Gala. So I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there's about a decade of my life that I call my dark years or my lost years. And during this time, I had a bad eating disorder, but it was beyond that. I was working from home for a lot of it. I was really socially isolated. Not that any of these things aren't true today. But what was different, I think, at the time was I also had a lot of pick-me energy, and I had a big like, oh, I'm not like other girls, I'm just into fish and like, you know, jammy music and like getting high, and like, I'm not like a basic girl who's into basic girly things, which is so funny because I'm like the most basic girl and exclusively into basic girly things. But anyway, so during this time of my life, I feel like anything that happened, I wasn't even loosely familiar with. I've had the oven preheating at 450 Fahrenheit convection roast. I actually can't really tell if it's done preheating or not because when you put it on convection roast, it doesn't really tell you. I think the assumption is like it's always ready. So anyway, I'm just throwing these sweet potato discs in here to roast. But yeah, it was during this time that I first heard of the Met Gala. I will never forget, I was in law school 1L year, and one of my law school friends was like, oh, did you like look at the costumes from last night's Met Gala? And I was like, what the fuck is this event? And I remember everyone looked so crazy, and she's like, ooh, I wonder what the theme was. And I was like, I literally have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, but okay, sure, let's look at what the theme was. So yeah, I've still not once watched the televised carpet broadcast. I've since like seen photos and stuff because now I do like to be a little bit more in the mix. Anyway, so we're taking a tortilla. I bought these like stupid carb-wise tortillas. Like they're fine. I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I don't really like corn tortillas, and regular flour tortillas can just be a lot heavier than I need. Like that's just not really the energy I need in my life. But honestly, I think you can use whatever you want. These were just the best option that I saw at this particular store. So I quartered my tortilla. And what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna wet 3 of the 4 because I only pulled out 3 of these things. And we're gonna wrap it around, spray it with a little oil, put it in the oven because we're gonna make like little cones out of these tortillas. Now, I should tell you that we're prepping for 2 different canapes, if you will, or hors d'oeuvres or whatever. Also, I'm just laughing at like me being like, yeah, and this is like food that you could serve your friends if you gather to watch the Met Gala, which I've not once done. But also like, I can't imagine anyone would actually serve this to guests coming over, but like, you should. It would be cool. It would be different. Whatever. Anyway, I'm gonna wet these and then come back and roll them. I haven't tried this with corn tortillas, but I wonder if it would be harder with corn tortillas because they're less pliable than flour. Okay, so I'm just like putting one end in like this and then wrapping it around. It does not have to be perfect at all. But you want to put like the loose side down so it just holds. And I got these on Amazon. I will link them per usual. Ooh, my tummy is aggressively rumbling. Not like rumbling in a hungry way, like more like rumbling in like not like an IBS way, like not like I'm gonna poo my pants, like I wish, you know. Always holding out hope for the day. But I don't know, it's like something's moving. Do you get that? Like when something's moving and it like literally feels like a baby kicking. Like I'm so sorry to any mothers that I might offend with what I'm about to say next, but I genuinely feel like I am familiar with a lot of elements of the gestation experience via having had such intense gut issues. Maybe I'm wrong, the only way to really know is for me to get pregnant and see. But I know like at the height of my gut issues, there'd be times where I just sit around being like, I would imagine this is what giving birth feels like as I'm like wailing and screaming in pain. This isn't that, by the way. This was like rather kind of pleasant, but it was like little kicks, you know? See, I feel like I've had my belly be every, like roundness of every stage of the pregnancy experience. I've experienced that. I've experienced pains. I've experienced kicking. I've experienced poo's so big that my asshole tore. I'm just kidding. That's so gross. I'm sorry. No, I like never poo. So dainty, so cute. Okay, I'm blocking this drawer so you don't see it, but one of these days I'm gonna fucking clean it because that is so embarrassing. But I'm just grabbing avocado oil spray. Now, when I've tested this recipe, I've actually never used the oil spray, but like it'll only get crispier and better. Like in last week's episode, when I did the tofu fish, when I recipe tested that, I actually never used oil for that. And I will say it was like 20 times better with oil. So, you know, you're welcome for these innovative, groundbreaking hot takes over here. Oil makes things taste better. But yeah, I'm hoping the oil will just help it get crispier. You know what? Like one of them, I won't use oil and we can kind of compare. So yeah, just placing that in the oven. Oh, my bad. I said one of them I wasn't gonna use oil so we could compare, but I forgot and I used oil anyway. All right, I'm gonna pack this shit up and we're gonna get going on the next part of this episode. Woo! Let's pretend I didn't do that. Okay, this is the part I'm the most nervous about. I've been testing it and I'm yet to be able to get it to work the way I want it to. So this might be a big fail. So this right here is isomalt. My understanding is that it's like beet sugar or something. Like I think it's sugar made from beets in some way. I'm trying to read the back here. It does say this sugar substitute is about 50% as sweet as sucrose or table sugar. It has little to no impact on blood sugar levels and does not stimulate the release of insulin. It also does not promote tooth decay. That's my favorite part of it. I have to do some research on the whole insulin blood sugar thing. That just seems kind of hard to believe. Anyway, so this, when it melts down, it then sets in a crystallized way. I just used like 90% of the bag, so like there's no going back. Like this better fucking work. It like sets in this clear crystal kind of way. And my vision, well, okay, my top choice vision that I have a feeling I'm still not gonna be able to get because I was not able to do it like every time I've tested it, so why would I be able to do it now? But my ideal vision would be to create a dome, like a clear dome-like structure with this. Again, I don't have my fingers crossed. My second choice, which I'd be really happy with, is creating like a honeycomb, or I have these like butterfly things, something in that vein with this, or lastly, just creating like some kind of clear glass with it. So this just melts on its own. Fun times, and I can't wait to set the whole house on fire and not accomplish what I set out to. But anyway, this is gonna be the kind of clear sheath in the Beyonce recipe. So I'll actually tell you about that one. So Beyonce's family, like she grew up in Texas, but I believe they have kind of like Creole, like I think they're originally from Louisiana. So she grew up with a lot of like Creole, Southern kind of cooking. And she said that one of her favorite foods is candied yams, which for our international viewers in America, they sometimes call sweet potatoes yams. I don't know why. By the way, as you can see up here, this is like starting to melt. So I wanted to do kind of a play on candied yams. So we're roasting the sweet potatoes, and then this is gonna be the candied element of it. And then there's one more element that we're gonna incorporate. Okay, this is melting quite quickly. Oh, I'm so nervous. I wish I had more of the isomalt so I just had like more to play with, but whatever. Okay. Wow, we're almost there. Yeah, this is almost like a molecular gastronomy kind of coded episode, which is interesting because I'm like really not a trained chef in any capacity. Okay, this guy's ready to go. All right, pray for me. I'm really nervous I'm gonna fuck this up. But like I said, I already don't really think it's gonna work, so. Yeah, like I just don't really see how I don't know. I don't know, I feel like I should give up on the dome and just kind of move on to the other things, because I just do not see a universe in which this will work. Let's try like the honeycomb. Now this could work so long as it doesn't like break off when I take it off. That actually really could work. I'll try a butterfly too. And then, shit, there isn't even anything on the top of this dome anymore. See, that's why I don't think it's gonna work. The rest of this, I'm just gonna pour on some plain parchment paper. Let me move this so you can kind of see this a little bit. Okay. Well, in my experience, if you don't start like fucking with this immediately, it ruins your life. So I'm gonna put this in the sink and get hot water in it and move some of this stuff, and we can move on to the next part of what we're making. Ow. Okay, this next recipe is maybe my favorite thing I've ever made. Like, I can't explain it. It's so creative and different and just like unique and unlike anything I've ever had before. So we're making miso soup gummies. Now you may have heard miso gummies, like miso flavored gummies, which like yum yum, relatively basic relative to this. No, we're making miso soup gummies, as in miso soup in the form of a gummy. Like you bite in and it's a whole fucking miso soup within your gummy. Like, have you ever even heard of anything like that? Has anyone done anything like this ever before? I don't think so. Okay, so we're starting, and by the way, that's way more than a cup, so I'm gonna dump some of it out. Hold on. Okay, we're starting with a cup of water. We are going to add 1 teaspoon of agar powder. This is actually, as interesting and unique and innovative as this recipe is, it's actually extremely easy to make, like extremely easy to make. So we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of agar powder and 1 teaspoon of this. I don't remember what this is called, but it's like a veggie stock base or something. I will link it. In my head / in my recipe book, I wrote it down as Yodo, but I don't know that it's called Yodo. I honestly don't remember what it's called, but it just adds a nice flavor to things. So we're just gonna use the immersion blender for a second to combine. That's it. Pop her into the microwave. Actually, I feel like it could be a little bit more combined. Also, this might be a good time to mention that I already pulled the tortilla cones out of the oven, and I turned the oven off, but the sweet potatoes are still in there. I'm just gonna microwave until it bubbles up, and basically you want it to hit a boil. I find that it first gets thicker and almost opaque, and then it gets translucent. It's kind of fucking weird. I'm gonna go grab a fork so I can stir it in between. All right, see how like the agar kind of goes to the bottom from time to time? Now, agar, if you're not familiar, is a type of seaweed, I believe. It's used as a gelatin substitute in vegan cooking and stuff, but it sets so fucking quickly. So we're using our cookie tray by Supercubes that we used in last week's episode also. I like this because you can it's silicone, so you can pop things out, but it's sturdy on the outside, so you can pick it up even when it's full, which cannot be said for a lot of other things. And then we have our miso. We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of white miso when it's out of the microwave. The reason we don't add it before is because we don't want the miso to get all hot. So that's it. I find that 2 tablespoons for this is like the perfect amount. And we'll just, when we pull it out of the microwave, which shit, I should be checking on this, we'll just immediately start blending it with the immersion blender. That's how we'll combine the miso too. Getting closer. And then because it's miso soup, we're gonna add some seaweed flakes because miso soup has seaweed in it, and some scallions because miso soup has scallions in it. And what's cool about this and on theme about it is the scallions and the seaweed are gonna be suspended in this like relatively clear jelly. Like we're gonna be able to see into it I just want to pull out like some of the smaller scallion pieces. So yeah, we'll kind of incorporate that whole sheer element of things. Plus, like, this is art. I mean, this is like as artistic as it gets, you know? And it's like a food that you're familiar with, but presented in a completely different way. Okay, I'm gonna give it a few more seconds and then it's ready. Like, this is honestly so easy to prepare, but what's really fucking cool is like if you make this for someone and they come over, they're gonna think you're some kind of like creative genius. Like they're gonna have their minds blown. They won't even know what to do with themselves. Like you'll have to get out diapers because they're gonna wet themselves. This is bubbling quite a bit. She is ready. And we're just gonna start blending and I'll add in the miso. Okay, that should be good. Dude, I'm so excited for this. I originally made this when I was testing it. I made it in square format, but I thought that round would be more appropriate for this because like it's soup and soup is usually in a round bowl, you know. I also love these because I've been recipe testing them. I have a bunch in my fridge at all times and they're so yummy and they're so filling. I think it's something with the agar. Like agar can be really, really filling. I know it's really high in fiber. I don't know if there's more to it than that or if it's just the high in fiber-ness of it. The chunky stuff is just some of the miso, I believe. If not, we would have a catastrophe on our hands. Like if the agar didn't fully blend in, disaster. Okay, so I'm just adding in some scallions and it'll get clearer as it sets too. So like you actually, when they're out of the mold, like you really can kind of see through them and see things suspended in them, which is like so weird. Also, when I told my mom about this vision, she thought I meant like miso soup as a dessert, like it was gonna be sweet. Because you're gummies, and I was like, no, they're gonna be like it's like eating miso soup, only it's in gummy form. Took a while, but I think we got there eventually. Wait, also, right after this episode airs, I think, I'm going down and I think I'm gonna be at my parents' house for over a week. So pray for me. I've never done it for that long before. I'm nervous. Who would you consider to be like queen of the Met Gala? Like always, I feel like Kendall always nails it. But with Kendall, there's always an element of like, okay, is it that her outfit is actually so breathtaking and mind-blowing? Or is it that she's just so beautiful and skinny and just like can wear anything perfectly? Like, I don't know. Ooh, you know what I should do? You know how we did the Posh Spice dinner menu episode last week? I feel like I should do a Kendall Jenner one. Wait, would you like that if I did a Kendall one? I don't really know what Kendall eats though. Okay, that seems good. Now, we add our little seaweed flakes. Oh, it smells like miso soup, which is actually one of my favorite smells. I love like the smell of a Japanese restaurant, like hands down one of my favorite smells. Yeah, I'm very curious to see how this Met Gala is executed. My friend said that she thinks that we'll see a return of, I think it was Jean-Paul Gaultier. I don't really know. I'm not like that big of a fashion girl, you know? Like I like pretty clothes and stuff, but I just mean I'm not like, I've never studied fashion. But I think it's Jean-Paul Gaultier who did Zendaya's Dune premiere thing with like the breastplate and stuff. She thinks we'll see a return of that on the Met Gala carpet. So We'll see, we'll see. I don't know. Okay, I think it's time for me to pack this shit up, like just clean up a little, and then we'll get to the next element of the next dish. I just gonna, yeah, the sweet potatoes look good in there. They're fine. I'll take them out in a sec. Okay, we'll see you in a second. Okay, now we're gonna make the filling for the tortilla cone thing. Now, this recipe is actually inspired by the avocado egg rolls from the Cheesecake Factory. When I was in high school, my friends and I practically lived at the Cheesecake Factory. It's actually embarrassing how much time we spent both at the mall and specifically at the Cheesecake Factory. But I always loved the avocado egg rolls. Actually, my parents also like them. And by the way, I'm just taking this Morinu silken tofu, the one I use in a lot of recipes, and I'm gonna mash it up with some avocado. And the reason that I'm doing this, to be clear, this isn't like a copycat Cheesecake Factory recipe. It's just, it's inspired by it. But the reason I'm doing this is because the tofu is gonna keep the filling lighter and also add a lot of protein. So we're just gonna mash it together and we'll see how it tastes. If it tastes like shit, I'll let you know, so you can just go plain avocado. It's just an idea I had. I just wanted to test it out, see what happens, you know? So one time, my dad, keep in mind, my parents are foreign. My dad was like, he goes, hey, what's that vegetable called? Do you know the one that at the Cheesecake Factory, it's in the thing with the thing? And I was like, that's exactly what he said. Okay, but in Farsi, in the thing with the thing. And my mom goes, avocados. I was like, what like weird code language do the two of you have in the thing with the thing? Like, how the fuck am I supposed to know what that is? But I guess that's what happens when you've been married for 650 years. They're like basically the Cullen family. I make myself laugh. It's a Twilight reference, if you didn't get it. Anyway, so this does not look good, is what I'm learning. I thought it would mash up way better. I did not think it would look like this. So for the filling, we're just doing this mash though, because we're gonna add some cilantro flowers, and we have this sauce, which is truly inspired by the Cheesecake Factory sauce that comes with the avocado egg rolls. It's a tamarind cashew cilantro sauce. Now this has 1 cup of pitted medjool dates. That's about 10 big juicy dates. 3 tablespoons of tamarind puree. I'll link the one that I buy. 1/2 cup of raw cashews. 3/4 to a full cup of fresh cilantro. Measure with your heart, it's fine. And that's like fairly packed in. 1 cup of water, 1/4 cup of tamari or soy sauce, whatever you have. I've made it both ways, it's fine. 3 cloves of garlic and 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. Blend that together until super, super smooth. So for this recipe, the reason I did the whole cone thing and all the parts of it is because my friend told me, because like bodies is part of the theme, I guess, is she thinks that we're gonna see a lot of like breastplates and a lot of like structured, like that type of thing. So I thought that this kind of gives like corset, you know what I mean? Like that kind of vibe. Okay, let me test this and see how it is. It would be better if it were just avocado. I'll be real with you. I like it because I like tofu a lot. I think that maybe going 3/4 avocado, 1/4 tofu would be better. Also, if my avocado weren't so dog shit, that would also be better. But I'm happy I did it this way. I'll be real. Okay, so here's our cones. Should we even do this now, or should we do the assembly in a sec? Whatever, let's start it. No. Let's hold off because there's one more thing I want to make for another recipe. Well, I guess I can take these out, it's fine. And then we'll assemble everything in one go, if you will. All right, we'll just put this aside for now. We have our sauce, we have everything. We have one more thing to make for the sweet potato one, which I took out of the oven, by the way. And then we'll assemble everything and then we'll feast. Okay, this is actually the very last thing we're doing before we assemble. We're gonna make a Cajun spiced foam for our sweet potatoes. And the reason we're doing this is because Beyonce, her family, again, has these Cajun roots. And so I thought that this would be a cool way, or not, I just shouldn't say Cajun roots, but whatever. I knew she grew up eating Cajun food, that much I know. So I got this Cajun seasoning blend. Now, I should tell you, I really wanted to get Tony's Creole seasoning because when I was in college, I had a friend who was from Louisiana, and I know that that's really big down there. But I unfortunately couldn't get my hands on it in time. Apparently, like, our grocery stores here don't carry it, but that is kind of like the gold standard for that type of seasoning. Creole and Cajun seasoning are a bit different, but whatever. So we're just using our handheld frother to froth this milk up, this seasoned milk up, and create kind of a foam. Okay, that's good enough for now. Let's just put it aside for right this second. I might revisit it in a bit, but let's assemble some fucking food, yeah? Woo! Okay, so we're just gonna put some of this filling into these cones. I'm gonna use the back of this fork to make sure it's all the way in. Yeah. Perfect. And then I'm gonna add some cilantro flowers and garlic flowers. These are actually two of my favorite edible flowers because they taste like what they are. So it's like a more fun way of eating cilantro, you know? Oh, this looks so cute on this plate. Such a cutie. We'll just do a cute little bowl with the sauce. I feel like it needs a little bit of texture. So maybe I'll go for my tried and true dried miso flakes. Yeah, that's pretty sick. See, isn't that just the cutest? Wait, I love that. Okay, let's move on to our next dish. Okay, first and foremost, we need to see if this is gonna work. I'm not optimistic, but whatever. Holy shit, this might actually work. Oh, hell yes. Okay. Sweet potato, Cajun foam, edible flower, dome. I did it. I fucking did it. Holy shit. Holy shit. Okay, I have to take like a billion trillion photos. And now for our miso. I mean, like, how cutie patootie are these? Look at this. Look at this. Like, you can literally see the scallion on the inside and the wakame. Like, fucking adorable. Okay, I think it's time for us to eat. Okay, I'm gonna start with the miso soup gummies because I already know what they taste like and I know they're good. This is the craziest thing you'll ever eat. Like, it's just so weird to eat soup in a gummy form, but it's delicious. It's so fucking good. It's so good. Now, We're gonna do our little coney poos. Look how cutesy patootie. With the sauce, this is perfect. I still think it would be better if we were plain avocado, but it's so good. The sauce is just so good, and it's just so fun to eat something like this in this format. Like, I'm gonna have to eat more food out of cones, I think. Okay, the time has come for this. Okay, this is how you eat this. I can't believe I'm about to do this. I can't believe my hard-earned, whatever. You saw how hard I worked on this. Wait, that was so fun. Wait, I actually can't wait to watch this because, like, I don't really know how it went, you know? Oh my God. Okay, so then you take parts of this because this is where the candied part of the yam comes from. Got the flour. Tastes like candied yams. Tastes like candied yams with a Cajun kick. That's sick. If that isn't the coolest shit you've seen, then you're crazy. Then I need to know what you're seeing day to day, because that was nuts. All right, I'm gonna go clean. I've created a bigger mess than you can possibly imagine, but that was wild. That was really fucking cool. Thank you so much for being here. I had so much fun with you today. We'll chat next week, yeah? Love you. We did it. God, why do I keep wooing today? What the fuck is that?